you guys, it's Christina. Today, I want to share with you my story of how I got bit by a black widow spider. Now don't freak out on me, I'm okay. I'm still here and I have a pretty amazing story to share with you. Before I get started with this, I do want to say that if you can't handle some grotesque pictures or icky details, then this video probably isn't for you. I'm going to be sharing with you pictures of my bite from beginning to end, and I really want to share with you the healing process that took place for me because I really want you to see the amazing healing capabilities of the body when it is truly healthy. Please keep in mind that I am not a doctor and I'm not recommending that everyone who gets bit by a black widow spider does what I did, but I am merely sharing my experience with you to truly showcase the miraculous power of eating fully raw, of being healthy, and the body's ability to heal, repair, and restore itself without drugs. This personal anecdote showcases the power of raw foods, of sleep, of sunshine, of natural or ancient remedies, and, most importantly, self-love. Please keep in mind that this took place in the past and that I am 100% healed and at this point in my life feel amazing. It is because of my lifestyle and diet that I truly believe I was able to heal from this incident as quickly and as miraculously as I did. Are you ready? Here is my story of how I got bit by a black widow spider. From 2007 to 2008 and some parts of 2009, I lived in Costa Rica. And many of you know that I'm Latin American and my family has many friends and some family members who are in Costa Rica. And when I transferred from Vanderbilt University to Rice University, I actually took a period in between schools where I chose to study abroad in Costa Rica. I went to visit our family friends as well as intern with Dr. Graham in Costa Rica and also complete certain studies while I was there. At this point in my life, I had been raw for about 2 to 3 years. I had just overcome my hyperglycemia at the time. I was still a bit underweight, but I felt amazing. And I remember sharing my experience, my testimonial with literally everyone that I came across or everyone that I knew. Literally everyone knew me as the girl who eats fruit. Not kidding. I got bit while I was completing my studies in the undergrad school, learning about plants, herbs, natural medicine, Spanish-speaking inquisitions, interacting with the communities, all of the beautiful ecosystems there, and most importantly for me, permaculture, which is the art of planting fruits and veggies organically in accordance with nature. There were about 30 of us studying abroad with my college there, and we all became very close in a short period of time. We lived in Punta Arenas, and on the weekends we would travel to different areas of Costa Rica to do group studies and just tour. One weekend I will never forget. We went to this farm sanctuary literally in the middle of the jungle. A beautiful place, but seriously some rough terrain. And the first night we got there, I remember one of the instructors showing us around the property farm, and he showed us all of the fruits growing on the plantations on the property. He showed us oranges, papayas, dragon fruits, caimitos, zapotes, piñas, and cacao. For those of you who know me know that I don't eat cacao. Some believe that it's because of the 80-10-10 principle, that it has caffeine and it isn't always stabilizing for the body. However, I have to be honest here. This story is the real reason that I don't eat cacao. So that evening that we arrived, a group of us went to go see the cacao trees. And we started picking these pods, and inside they were so cool looking. We broke them in half and we saw the cacao part that resembles the look and the taste of processed chocolate. My friends, this is where chocolate was born. And I remember climbing the tree to get the pods because no one else would do it, and I remember feeling an itch on my neck. I ignored it, and I remember we just had a fun time spending the rest of the evening smashing open these pods with hammers and machetes, and it was so much fun. Later on that evening, my roommates and I were getting ready for bed when one of them said, "Oh my God, look at your neck. It's pussing." And I was like, "Pussing?" I looked in the mirror and there was a decent sized red welt on my neck, the size of a nickel. And it was literally dripping with white pus. We figured I had been bit by something, but we weren't able to do anything until morning. So I remember putting some lavender essential oil on it, and then I went to sleep with my friends and all of the lovely cockroaches around us. It was a lovely evening. The next day, it started bubbling, and it started turning really red and dark red in some areas. And because we were in the middle of the jungle, it wasn't like I could go to the doctor to find out what was going on. We were a good 5-hour drive from civilization as we knew it, and we had to complete a few more days there with this one study before we went back to Punta Arenas. I remember walking around the area of this village, and I remember I found these 2 older women who helped me. I found them and they looked at the bite and they just knew. And they were like, "Arana viuda negra, arana negra." And they kept telling me, in Spanish, this means black widow spider. And they had seen it before. And immediately then and there, one of them went inside into her humble abode and she came back with this bowl where she was mashing basil and garlic together that she had just picked from her garden. And she took this huge glob of whatever this mixture was, and she just slapped it right on my shoulder, right by my neck where I'd gotten bit, right here. And she told me that it would get worse and that it would turn black, but that if I kept applying this garlic basil mixture, that it would suck out most of the poison. They said a prayer over me, and then we went to go grab my instructors. Everyone freaked. I mean freaked, and for some reason I think that I was the only calm person in the situation. I don't think I really understood the gravity of what was going on because I'd never been bit by a spider before. And I just remember I kept telling them, "Don't worry, I've been eating pristine for nearly 3 years, my body's been through a lot, and I know that I can survive this." That night, 2 people from the village came back with these pills that they wanted me to take. And I remember they were some type of antibiotic, but it was a white label. It had no name or anything on it, and they said it would help me with future pain and the infection. But I refused. I'd given up prescription drugs years ago when I got rid of my hyperglycemia, and I wasn't about to start then in the middle of a jungle when I had no idea what they were giving me. So I kept on with this garlic basil mixture, but it kept getting worse, and it was painful. About 3 days later, they sent me back to Punta Arenas because it had turned black and it was crawling up my neck, and it was painful. I remember my back hurt like crazy, and I only had enough energy to lie down and focus on healing, and I was bedridden for about 2 weeks. On day 4 was when the real scare started to happen. I started to pee blood. The family that I was staying with took me to the doctor, and the doctor was shocked that I had been bitten and still not taken drugs for it. I was still walking around with this blob of garlic and basil on my shoulder where I'd gotten bitten right here. And I had begged my mother to express send me some purification essential oil, but it never made it to the area where I was. The doctor gave me more drugs and he told me to take them, but I really didn't want to. Now I know this was a stubborn decision, but if you were in a foreign country and you didn't really know what drugs they were giving you, and you just didn't feel safe with them, you would have perhaps felt uncomfortable taking them as well. All I remember for the next 2 weeks after that was excruciating pain in my neck, right here, just all the way up and down. Pain while going pee, my back hurt, and I was exhausted. And the only thing that made the pain subside was eating copious amounts of watermelon, because it really helped to keep me hydrated and it let my pee pass without this excruciating pain. I believe that it was because of the watermelon helping to flush out my kidneys with a lot of water that it helped me to stop peeing blood. I had lost quite a bit of weight during this 3 weeks, but I was feeling back to myself. After about a week, I bounced back, and I started to run again. I was back to eating my normal fruits. I knew the bite had started to heal when it began to scab. I completed my studies, and I went home a few weeks later. So you can imagine that when I got home, my mom, for those of you who have met my mom online through some of these interviews, she was pretty worried about me. And this experience was very difficult for us to navigate together because she wanted me to go to the doctor and get my blood checked and make sure that I was okay, and I was telling her that I felt fine. But to make her happy, I went to the doctor regardless. So I remember we got to the doctor, and I remember sitting on his table, and he was about to check my blood, and he was telling me, "Oh, you got bit by a black widow? Oh no, and you only ate watermelon for 2 weeks? Oh, your results are gonna come back low, and oh, you're gonna have this problem, and I can't believe you didn't take the medicine." And I almost felt like this doctor was slapping me on the hand for making these choices. And I remember going home that day, and I felt scared. I felt like he had instilled this sense of fear within me, and I felt bad, like, oh my God, what did I do? I only ate watermelon for 2 weeks. I didn't take the drugs they wanted me to take. But I decided to really just have a little faith in myself and my body because I was feeling fine. I was feeling absolutely fine at that point in time, and I knew at the time that my body was okay. And here's where the really cool part of the story comes in. And I'll never forget that a few days later, I get a call on my cell phone, and it was this doctor. And he calls me up kind of quiet, and he was like, "So I have to tell you about your blood levels and the results that we got." And I said, "Well, were they okay?" And he goes, "Actually, yes, they were surprisingly perfect." And I said, "Perfect? Like 100% perfect?" And he said, "Well, are you sure that you only ate watermelon for 2 weeks straight and you really lost all that weight and this happened to you and that happened to you and are you sure all that happened to you?" And I said, "Yeah, you saw the scar on my neck. You were very concerned when you saw me." He goes, "Well, I don't know what you're doing, but you should keep doing it because your blood levels came back perfect." He said, "You're not low in anything." He said, "I even counted your protein ratio and your white to red blood cells are even perfect." And I kind of just listened to him for a minute, and I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yep, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it." And it was at that moment in time that it hit me. The amazing power of our body to heal and restore and repair itself, even when we're in the most dire and grave of situations. I know that I had been building my body up for 3 years prior after my hyperglycemia, getting healthy, eating nothing but raw foods, and exercising, sleeping well, getting rest. I felt amazing before, and I was getting back to the point where I felt even more amazing after this experience had happened. I know that many people think that eating fully raw is crazy or that it's extreme, but I know that for me personally, it really helped to save my life, and it's a part of the story that allowed me to heal faster and to bounce back quicker and to feel really amazing and to still be sitting with you here today. If you guys have appreciated this video and my story, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you guys want more tips, tricks, or recipes on how to go fully raw, please subscribe here to Fully Raw Christina as we have fun living this fully raw lifestyle together. If you guys want to follow me daily, you can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Fully Raw Christina. All right, you guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this really unique story, and I hope that you get to go and enjoy the rest of your day eating raw foods and healing your body. Sending you all my hugs and my love. Bye. That scar, it healed. It healed. I don't even, that's amazing. Our bodies are pretty awesome. Well, at least I'm not scared of spiders anymore. That's all I can say. Cockroaches are a different story.